All right, folks, welcome back. We're gonna go back on the Big Bear. Still waiting on the gaskets and whatnot for the side cover there. So I wanna kind of move on, kind of keep doing some stuff. We got some time here. I need to have a couple baskets. You know, the racks are nice, but when you're out and you're going through the woods and stuff, it's nice to put chainsaw in there, or your straps or chains or whatever. So we need some sort of basket. Now I looked on the World Wide Web, I see they make some. Most of them are, metal or plastic. I suppose you can make your own wooden one, but I have some 1-inch tubing, some 1x1 metal tubing kicking around. I got like two 20-foot lengths of that, and I've got a piece of expanded metal that's been sitting around here forever. So I'm hoping that we can utilize some of that stuff, make our own basket. I guess if our time isn't worth anything, which in this case it isn't, it shouldn't cost us anything other than a little bit of welding wire and stuff we already have. So hopefully we can do that. I did make myself a homemade bender for bending 1-inch tubing about 15 or 16 years ago. So we're gonna dig that out and see if we can use that. I only used it a few times for a little project I had, and it's been collecting dust. So let's blow the dust off it and see what we can do. We don't have a sketch or a blueprint or a drawing to go off from. So we're just gonna kind of adapt as we go. I've got it in my mind a little bit, I think, what I want it to look like. So I'll run this by you guys. So I was thinking a basket that's essentially the same as this here, tubing coming across here, around, kind of following the same contour, maybe stick out past the front just a little bit. And then to fasten it, I was hoping that we either have a bar running this way, or perhaps, just two bars in this direction, in which we drill down through. We'll put a couple of nut certs here, like some, maybe some 8mm, some 5/16 nut certs. And then we just have two bolts that come in right from the top. That way, if we want to take it off, we can just take the two bolts out, set it to the side, and that should be rigid enough to bolt it down. So that's my thoughts. So we're gonna get started on it. So let's grab a tape measure. We'll see what we need for an overall length. Now let me show you my little bender I made. So it's just this here. I set this here. It's just a couple pieces of shaft that I welded to a piece of channel. And then I took a lock collar and then cut a piece of, a rounded piece of scrap. So when we essentially stick your bar across here, and then we'll push on it with the press, and then it allows it to bend, giving it, this radius here, whatever it is. It's just pieces of scrap that we had, and then a lock collar. This lock collar fits on my press, and then just tack welded it to that. So like I say, she got some cobwebs on it. Used it a long time ago. So we're gonna utilize that. So it might be a little trial and error. I do remember when bending the tubing, it was never really perfectly straight. It didn't stay parallel with itself. So sometimes you got to kind of stick it in the vise and tweak it back and stuff like that. So those are some obstacles we're going to come across. So we'll get a outside measurement here. We're going to be using the American system. So it's about 34 inches. We'll just use whole numbers. So we'll say 34 inches. And then the problem is we're gonna have to make it in a couple pieces, because we can make a bend, but we can't come out here and then make this bend also, with the same piece, because we have limitations within our press that the piece of material will come over and hit the press. So I think what we'll do is we'll make a piece, essentially like this. We'll do the front half, or the back half rather, and then we'll measure up and we'll do the front half. And whatever we do, we have to do it twice, because we're going to make a frame essentially for the bottom, and then there'll be pieces of tubing to bring it up to whatever height. We have to be mindful of our handlebars and stuff. So maybe this tall, whatever that is. Maybe 6 inches tall or 5 inches tall, something like that. So we're going to have a frame on the bottom, pieces that come up, so we can put the expanded metal around it on the bottom, and then a framework for the top. So whatever we make for the bottom, we're gonna copycat it and make the top. So essentially we have a basket. That's my thoughts. I'll think about it some more. I don't see any reason to getting real fancy and coming back around here and that kind of stuff. So just a simple box is what we're gonna make, 34 inches. So let's get a piece of material here. And then we're gonna need 34 plus, we'll come about halfway here, which however long that is. So at least 6 inches of that anyways. 34 plus another foot is what we need. So what's that, 46 inch piece. Our initial piece that we started with, like I say, it's 20 some feet long, I think 21 feet. So I just cut off about a 4 foot section here. So I'm just gonna put a mark at 46. And I don't think this really has to be exact. Like I say, we just gotta be able to duplicate it. And I've got this chop saw here. The legs are broke on it, so I got it propped up on some safety blocks. So we'll get that about lined up where we need it. Roughly hold that right there. We're gonna lose a little bit here, but this was the end anyways. This thing's pretty loud, so we'll put our earplugs in. Cover your eyes. So that's our tubing we're using. It's not really heavy wall, but it's probably heavier than most. I don't know how thick it is. It's that thick. So whatever that is. 46 inches. Let's put some marks on this. We'll find the center. And then I believe whatever we want our outside dimension from. I did leave myself a paper note with my press thing. I could barely read it though. Whatever our outside measurement is, we have to deduct 1 inch from it. We lose 1 inch with a 90-degree bend. I left myself a note because I knew someday that I would need that. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but hopefully it will. So we're gonna go 23 inches. That's gonna be half of 46. I thought I had a little square around here. I do, I found it. Here's our little square. So this is our center mark, okay? We'll see on that so we don't forget. So that's our center. So now 34. We gotta get half of 34 and then take an inch off from it. So half of 34 is 17. So we want to make our mark on the 1 inch area down here. So we'll put a little mark there, our 1 inch mark, and then we'll start out here because we want to go 16 inches. So I'll start on the 1 right here. We'll cut an inch off. And then we'll put a mark at 17. Okay, so that should be 16 inches between each mark. That one is a double check. I tend to screw stuff up a lot. So there's 16 inches. If we bend that, and if my note that I left myself was correct, we should be roughly 34 inches on the outside of the radius. Okay, so if we set this here, wherever center is on this, when we bend those around, man, I hope I'm right. There's probably some mathematical equation you can use, but I'm sure the first time I figured it out, it was trial and error. Trust me, I wasn't doing math. This is where it could all go wrong. Hopefully I've left myself, yeah, because you have to have so much stock sticking past the back of it too. Now, I did draw myself center marks on this at some point. But as I mentioned, when you start to push this down, it doesn't tend to stay parallel. I don't know if that's the right word, but you'll see, because we'll set it on a bench. I do remember this didn't work as great as I thought it would when I made it. I'll get it till it just touches, okay? And try to center the bar. Get everything kind of going straight, the little blocks here. I don't know what it takes to keep it parallel. Now as you smush the bar, it also buckles out the side here too, you know, so because the material has to go somewhere, it can't just disappear. You know, so as we push on this, you'll get a little bulge right here. Everything looks like it's sitting pretty straight. The die there's pretty straight. So we'll give her some beans here. We got to go past 90 if we're going to follow the contour of the rack that's currently on it. So we'll take it till what looks like 90, then we'll go out and test fit it and bring it in. And I think once you bend this, it becomes kind of weak, so you can bend it back if you got to tweak it just a little bit. Wait, see how it bulges right there? Okay. Sorry, I keep sticking my head in there, but I put you guys in the optimal viewing angle. Oh, we're out of jack. Let's see, maybe that'll work out good. Maybe it'll work in our favor. Nope, we gotta go more. That's not quite 90. So we need more. We'll just stick this block here. We'll go like that. Oops, razor back up. Went too far. Too far, fella. Oh boy. Okay. Get this kind of. Oops, got it back in here where we were. Maybe they make something like this that you can buy. I'm not sure. We gotta be a little bit past 90 now, right? So we'll back out just a little bit. Let's go check and see if that's what we need, but that's how I bend tubing. That's what it looks like. I got the idea from looking at pieces of bent tubing and just figuring that they had some kind of die that did that, but as you can see, it does bulge out a little bit. And I don't know if you can beat that back down or not, but I don't think it's gonna be an issue. Let me go see if we got enough bend on this thing. We're close, man. And then I measured it because theoretically we should be 17 inches if my notes were right from the line to the outside, and we're not. So we kind of goofed up there a little bit. We're like a 1/4 inch off, which is close enough for what we're doing, but we might have to change my marks on my note I left myself. It's more like we should burn 3/4 of an inch instead of an inch, but whatever. We're gonna be really close to what we need. So now we're gonna do this side too. Oops, you gotta use your head here, fella. Let's see. All right, let me get this one lined up. We just gotta remember when we make our other piece, we gotta do whatever we did, we gotta do it the same. So we're gonna burn an inch off our other one, providing this works out for us. Bringing you along so you can watch all the failures too. It's okay. Right on our mark. Looks good to me. Make sure everything looks pretty straight. There you go. Gotta be pretty close there. We'll give her 2 extra pumps for good measure. Alright, let's go ahead with it. We won't go all the way. Maybe we went too far. Gotta be close though. Yeah, see, she's got some twist to it. But boy, it looks like our bends are just lovely. Okay, but let's set it down. Probably should get these burrs off there. Cut you a few dozen times. I think if we set it on the ground, we're gonna find that it's, it doesn't run in line with itself. It's hard to see on camera, but let's just check. But we can be tricked by the bulge also. It's all bulged out. So that becomes the problem. So this one here looks like it's sitting pretty good. So I think I remember back when I was using this for my original project that I made the little thing for, and they also have a tendency to twist a little. So this one has some twist in it, which may or may not be a problem. I do believe that once you make this bend here, it does weaken the structural integrity of the tube. So I think we can probably move this. I got to think of the best way to tweak that. I don't know if we just stick this in the vise and we stick like a pipe wrench on here and just try to bend it. I think that's my first option, I think is what I want to do. If we can get this kind of just half-ass sitting close, for what we're going to be doing with it, I think we're going to be okay. Oh, this seems sketchy AF. Oh, boy, that bent. I felt it. I felt it right here. Not right here or right here, but right here. Guess we went a little bit too far. This guy did. So we have to problem solve along the way. I wasn't thinking there a minute ago, so now it's better than it was, but it depends on when you flip it over, because like an idiot, I wasn't thinking we're sitting on these bulges, okay, where these are bulged up here and here. If you flip around one way, it's not too terrible. So what we need to do, actually, to kind of start tweaking this back the way it needs to be, is to set it up essentially where we know it's still square, and now we can see where the actual twist, where the twist is in, okay? So we got a little bit there. If we're trying to get these, parallel with this, I might not even be using the right word, but you know what I mean. So now that's what we have to gauge it, because if we flip this upside down, I imagine these are going to be up way higher. So we'll flip this around, set it down. Yeah, see, look. See what I mean, dude? So that's what we have to fight with. We ain't gonna fight like this fight, but let me get where'd my little crayon go? Get my. So I'm gonna fiddle with this a little bit, folks. I don't know if I'm so much worried about the twist that's in it, because these are twisted a little bit. I think the first battle obstacle we're gonna come across is getting it so they're all the same height. So I'm just gonna make a mark on here that this has to go that direction, because by the time I pick it up and stick it in the vise, I don't know which way to go. Same thing with this one. This one needs to go same way, so this one needs to go down. But this side also has quite a twist in it. So I'm wondering if we put it in the vise, we bend it, can we also put it in the vise and then roll the twist out of it, so when we stick our two pieces of tubing together to weld them, perhaps they'll be sitting at the same twisty doodad, because ultimately we're going to have two pieces that butt up and get fried together. So that's funny. This tubing here, this is some scraps of tubing I had. I grabbed them out of my scrap pile. Is quite a bit thicker than the tubing that we're working with. Interesting. So let's try this. I'm gonna work on that using the same method, put it in the vise, tweak it down until we get where it needs to be, and then I'll kick the camera on, because you guys seen what I'm gonna do. Hope it doesn't break and get me and you guys miss it. So it didn't really take long at all. A couple of tugs. And I've got that sitting on this piece. This is our gauge, and we're within, 30-second of each there. Won't quite slide under it, but same thing on this side. We're super close to sliding under it. So they're both exactly, like I can get on this corner, but not that corner, and that's because it has a bit of a twist in it. I don't know if that'll be easier to take out when we weld the two pieces together and then bend it and then just take the twist out of one end. I don't really know. It's clearly tweaked a little bit. Like, for example, this piece needs to rotate this way. So this needs to go down. So I wonder, let's stick this in here. Clamp that in the vise, and let's just push down on it a bit, see if we can't. Oh yeah, that definitely twisted. Let's see, we mark that top. it does appear to be straighter. It does need to go more. So I think we can use that method. Just looking at it with the squareness on this tubing, it's pretty dang close. And who knows, when we bend the other piece, it should be twisted probably about the same. Maybe they'll line up nicely. This piece needs to go that way. So we can bend this one down just a little bit too. We'll give it a try anyways. Just hold this here. We'll push down on it a little bit. Hopefully you guys are still in the frame. Oh yeah, yeah, you can feel it. You feel it spring, but then you feel it kind of give a little bit. Stick that back up here. Yeah, that sucker's pretty close. I mean, it's off a whisker, but it shows that we can do that. That process does work. So this piece is down. There. So there's that. I say, well, let's see if it still looks good on the four-wheeler. We'll make another one just like it. So it looks like this side can be bent in a little bit more. Let me just see if we can just bang it on the floor. Just bang it on the floor a little bit. Oh, that actually bent easier than I thought it would. Okay, yeehaw. So essentially we just got to make another one of these for the top, and then we're going to bend another one for the front. We may end up trimming some of this off to make our welds in the middle. It really doesn't matter. We probably will because we're where this is at. Well, I guess if we come out a little bit further, we'll be okay. So I'm going to do that. I'm not going to bore you with that process, but this is essentially the process that I'm going to use. We're going to cut another piece that was whatever this was, 46. We'll shave an inch off our measurements and make the press in the same spot so we can duplicate this piece. So essentially the top of our basket, which will be, up here somewheres, and then expanded metal in the middle. It'll be pretty sweet. I wonder if we should make it so it comes back. Well, that's gonna get too complicated. I'm not too complicated. Let's just make another one just like it. I'll check back with you folks when I've got that one made. I'll sit there and tweak and get them straightened out like we did, and we'll start hopefully putting this thing together. I made the second piece. It turned out just like the first piece. Now I took 2 pieces of the scrap I had. I'm just trying to get an idea. I stuck a couple magnets on here, and I'm getting an idea as to what my outside diameter at approximately where I want it will be, because we need to know, this other piece that we cut to bend, because this thing is tapered, like this, because foolishly we didn't just build it square and set it on a rack. I guess if you're gonna make it custom, I suppose. We've got some liberty to, tweak these in if we need to, because chances are I'm not gonna build it perfect, but I wanna get it somewhat close so we can at least work with what we have. Now, if you remember back here, I think our measurement was like 34 inches, and then up here, we'll let the basket extend past just a little bit, but not out past the front bumper, so we're hopefully not whacking stuff with it. And I'm seeing about 32 inches. So we're gonna do the same thing, but with a 32 inch measurement here. Okay. I've cut a piece long enough where our bend, the tails here will be long. We'll probably have to cut them off, but it'll give us something to kind of work with. I keep losing my crane. So 32 inches is what we're gonna go with. So this piece is it's just under 43. So what's that, 21 and a half, right? 21 and a half. Did I do that right? Yeah, 21 and a half. So we'll make a mark on this. Learn how to use this thing. So there's our center mark. And I already forgot what we said we were gonna do, 32. Was that it? Idiot, should write stuff down. 32, I think that's right. So 15, 16, so we're gonna go 16 inches. No, that's not right, fella. 15, 16. Yes, but we need to burn an inch off of that. So 16 is half, 32. We're gonna take an inch off that, so we're gonna measure out 15 inches. There's an inch there. Measure out 15 inches here. Put our mark is 16. Let me make sure I made my marks right. So that's 15. That's 15. And that's 30. And then if we have an inch on each side, that's 32. So that should be right. But remember, now it's gonna have to work. We were gonna add an extra 1/4 of an inch to it to get our actual outside measurement, because I don't think this quite ended up 34 on the outside of the radius. It didn't. It's a 1/2 inch under. It's 33 1/2. So let's go this way, another 1/4 of an inch on our mark. So it's a 1/2 inch difference because we lost a 1/4 in each bend. So we'll add a 1/4 inch to each mark here, and we'll get it a little bit closer, hopefully. So we're gonna go on that mark. We're learning as we go, folks. Sometimes you just gotta adapt. That's what we're doing, we're adapting. So we'll make a mark here. Mark here. And I'll write these measurements down so I don't forget when we make our next piece, providing this piece works out. We've got lots of scrap. If it doesn't, we probably still have, I don't know, 12 feet over there. You'd have to do the math. But anyhow, these top pieces turned out good. They came out almost identical. Was able to do the second piece much faster because we had the method down. So let me write down these measurements. I'll go out and bend this one. And just kind of bring it over here and line it up. Like I say, we have some freedom to kind of tweak this out a little bit, tweak this one in, you know, to try to start to make a match the best we can. Unfortunately, once you bend it, you can't make it any longer or shorter. We can tweak in and out on the ends, but we still need it to look uniform. I've clamped a couple of pipes over here so I can set this side in, at least bring this side in and out, to see what I have to work with, see which way I've got to bend it. And it's going to be what it'll be. I think we're going to be okay. I'm going to stick this in the vise. We're going to bend this one here. I'm going to tweak this a little bit that direction. Clamp that down, we'll get it. We'll give it just a little tweak. We'll stick it back in the clamps there. What I need to do is I need to mark this because I'm going to end up flipping it around and doing things a couple times. Okay, so I bent it a little bit too far. Let me just label this top. That's the problem, you start flipping it around, then, yeah. Let's just kind of, I want to see where we get a happy medium here where we can bend stuff when we weld it, parallel with this piece here, that it's going to look good. This piece we can tweak out. I think we're pretty close. Let me go bend this out just a little bit more. I would like it to be able to come out as much as we're able to and still have things line up. So let me bend this a little more. It's gonna be a bit of a fiddly process. I'm just kind of eyeballing it just with the rack here. Well, I think we got it really dang close. That's gonna be sitting on there. These two blocks I clamped on here are gonna kind of assure that's pretty well straight. Boy, it looks really close there. Let's just see out of curiosity. So that's like 11 7/8. 11 7/8. I think that's going to be super close. I mean, we're going to be able to tweak it a little bit, but just eyeballing it. I don't think I'm going to bump into anybody out in the woods that's going to say anything. We're really close at this point. So I feel confident making another one to mimic this one. And then we'll make our cut wherever we need to make our cut. and then we'll join them together, kind of tweak them a little bit. We'll see what kind of problems we run across once we cut it and try to join them together. I don't know what kind of issues we're gonna have there, but I'm sure there'll be some. Oh, I don't know what in the world. What in the world was I just thinking? So my thought was once I made, you know, the other piece that we had to make, I was gonna kind of cut and figure out to see if I had any issues and then show you guys what I did. And I had an issue right off the bat because I just wasn't thinking. I had this rear piece, this is the rear one that goes on the bottom on the four-wheeler, and I had the top piece on, and I'm kind of setting it where I want it back and forth. And then I got it where I want it. I clamp it with a vice grip, I mark it here, and I mark it here, and I go over to cut it, and unfortunately I only cut one. I'm like, well, if I cut this one, it would have been way too short, so it is what it is. Now our joint's not in the middle. Hopefully it's salvageable though. I've gone ahead and, you know, just deburred, you know, the ends of these, put a little bevel on them. And we kind of got to work with what we have now, which theoretically, I mean, it should be close. I mean, we're going to have to do like a little fiddle, and that's 11 1/4 in the middle there. And that's 11 1/4, so it's really close. I'm thankful that I seen my error. Now, where these pieces butt together, it's kind of hard for you guys to see just the way the bench is. So where these butt together, they're not square, you know, I mean, because the metal's twisted. So I'm curious if we can put one side together, tack it, perhaps, weld it even, and then if we can kind of tweak and get what we need here. I'm not sure what the best approach. The best approach is probably just weld it together and just live with it. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if myself will allow myself to do that. So I'm gonna get the welder. I haven't cut the other one yet because I was a little frustrated at myself. But I guess if we want it to look uniform, we can just make these marks on our other two pieces and cut those the same, because it appears that this is going to work. And then at that point, I guess if we want to try to take the twist out of these, we can try to take the twist out prior to welding them, which would probably be the smartest thing to do. Get them as close as we can. Let me get the other pieces here. Yeah, what a ding dong. Hopefully these two, I don't know if these two are exactly the same. Yeah, they're close enough. I mean, they're pretty dang close. A little shorter on one end, because the pieces that we started with were exactly the same, so they're really dang close. Wow, rookie. Rookie, like I do this every day. Yeah, so we'll leave this one pretty much full length. We'll take and lay that on top, and I'll make a mark and we'll cut. We'll get these kind of get that the same. We'll make a mark and chop those off. Wow, that, well, wouldn't be an expensive mistake, I just a dumb mistake. Where's our, we lost our crayon again. Man, oh, here it is. Not really a dumb mistake, just a mistake that would have to make us make another piece. There's that one there. Mark that one there. And then we'll be in good shape for the shape we're in. Keep rubbing off my marks so I don't know. Top, front, top, bottom, front. Yep. Okay. So that's what we'll do. Now that we've transferred the mark, we don't really have to go cut that right now necessarily. I'll stick these pieces to the side. Okay, let's see if we can't tweak these and get these straighter than they are. It's, of course, we have to determine which piece has the tweak in it. Maybe we can split the difference. That needs to rotate that way. So we'll clamp it in here. See if we can't give it a little tug. I don't know if our vise is gonna have enough clamping power in that direction. go the wrong way. No, let's try this. Let's clamp it in this direction. You guys still in frame there a little bit? Yep, just want to make sure I'm spinning it the right way. I don't know if we can, if we start to take this twist out, if it does anything different, but we'll try that a little bit. That definitely moved quite a lot. That's got us pretty close. Let's take a little bit out of this one. It's gonna go up, so let's just clamp it the way we have to push it down. I'll get a little more force on it that way. Oops, it's not really hanging on too good there. Hang on, fella. See if that did anything. And then I'll just, oh, shh. Fraggity frag, look what I did to that pipe. Frag. Can we bring that back? Damn it. Oh, that sucks. I don't want to have to frickin' redo. We just got to do the opposite of what we just did. Try to re-square that thing up a little bit so at least looks half-ass straight. Oh, dang it. We did it now, so. Yeah, I kind of crushed it in. Well, you done messed up, Ron. Well, I guess that's the problem. Yeah, that's the problem with that. It's going to be as good as it can be, and you just have to deal with it. We're just going to have to deal with it. It's just a little basket on the four-wheeler, dude. All right? Calm down. That one has to go down. I'm just going to keep going through this process, try to clean up my mess a little bit here. I think the ones that have less length here, part of the crimp is still in there, and when we try to tweak it, it messes it up. You know, it squishes the whole tubing, is my thought. So we'll try to tweak the bigger pieces here. Well, actually puts that one pretty close. So that one's really close. Disappointed in myself. I'm gonna try to open that back up. I think I can stick the pry bar in there and kind of tweak that back a little bit. That's my thoughts. At least you guys get to see the good, the bad, and the ugly here. Oh yeah. Get that burr off there. I think we can tweak that back. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Won't even know we made the mistake. Unless you rewind the video, then you'll know. The tubing's thin enough wall that we can kind of straighten it out, but let that be a lesson. We really diamond shape that sucker. Let's see if we can grab it like this. Kind of get the diamond shape out of it. Yeah, there you go. Yes, sir. Okay, we're back to almost square again. Not perfect, but better. Okay, well, it's not perfect, folks, but it's better. I think at this point we can clamp one end of this together with some clamps. Maybe stick some of these inside and out. Kind of clamp it, tweak it, see what we've got down there. Because these ends are, you know, I cut them on the chop saw, but they're not 90-degree angle. Because this isn't a square box that we're making. But we'll do this. Kind of hold it halfway square to itself. Yep. I think we'll be okay. That's what we're gonna do. Let me go get the welder and we'll tack her up a little bit there.